Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of What's Happening Now with CNI Solutions. As always, remember to like, share, and comment on this broadcast live, as there could be information not only useful to yourself, but to someone else. Tonight's broadcast is being brought to us by Consofta. Consofta is the all-in-one marketing platform designed to empower coaches, consultants, and small businesses. With Consofta, you can streamline your entire business from client management to email services. I tell you what, Consofta is actually a pretty good program. We've used it here at CNI Solutions, and TNR Webs and Consofta has been outstanding. So some of the things that we got going on here at CNI Solutions got coming up. We just finished the Renew Ready program with Drake State Technical College. That was an awesome program. Had a lot of great students come through there. Some graduates and some great businesses going to be going on here in the Huntsville and the Tri-County area. We got coming up, we're going to be doing our first ever mini entrepreneur boot camp for the high school students. We're going to be offering that next weekend. It's going to be something special. I got a lot of high school students who are geared up and eager to learn what they can do as becoming an entrepreneur. So tonight in the studio with us, we got a special guest, a returning guest, not new to the scene, but we have Miss Shamika Hale, who is an author, entrepreneur, and all-around businesswoman. And she's got something new that I think is interesting. I think a lot of you are going to find interesting as well. Miss Hale, welcome.
Thanks for having me back.
Talk to us about this new venture that you have gotten started.
Well, we now have mobile labs now. We've essentially transitioned out of one-on-one technical college, and we have mobile labs now. We are still offering the courses, of course, for people that are interested. We've streamlined that. So it's, instead of it being 10 days, it's now 5 days. But in addition to that, we're also able to offer drug testing.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to go out into people's homes and do blood draws, different group homes, different settings. We will even come to your work and come draw your blood and drop it there at the lab for you. Flu test, HIV testing, which is very important, especially within our community. We're able to do that. Just pretty much anything that your doctor can do, we're here for.
So, I find that very interesting because, working in the corporate America and dealing with a lot of employees under me, we often find that getting people drug tested, when we need it at a certain time, it takes away from the site because somebody's got to go with that employee as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what you're offering, what Mobile Labs now is offering, you can come to the site. We don't lose no time away from the site. You can go ahead and drug test them right then, and I guess ship it off to your lab, and we'll get a result back, within a day, 24 hours. How does that work?
Well, everything you just said is correct, except for one thing. We're actually giving results on site.
Oh, wow. So we get it right then and there.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, I tell y'all what, y'all better watch out for a lot of you all who are watching. Hope y'all don't get Mobile Labs to come test y'all employees on site because, it could be a humdinger. So you transition from one-on-one technical college to Mobile Labs now.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like? How does that change the dynamics of who you are and what Mobile Labs doing now versus what one-on-one technical college was doing?
Oh, wow. It was hard, to answer your first question. It was hard. I actually had to put one-on-one to bed. And that required a lot of just moving around in the background and shutting down one business, grieving over it, going back in, after 2 years, you have to go in and revamp, see what worked, see what didn't work, streamline it, throw away what didn't work, pivot. It required a lot of inner dialogue, I think is what I would say, and some amazing mentors. Right now, let me just stop and thank everyone for their support. Once I closed one-on-one, I was unsure of what I was going to do next, but I had a lot of support, of course, from people like you, but there are a lot of other people out there that supported me and gave me the momentum to keep going forward too. So I want to, of course, say thank you for that. But that's what it looked like for me. It felt like I was on fire.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I didn't know. But once I sat down and I really thought about things, the idea was already there. And the seed had already been planted because there was a company that called us before and needed phlebotomists. So we had to go out on site and do that. So the seed was already there. I guess it just needed a little bit of water.
You make sounding like running the business is so easy. I had this one business. I just put it down. I laid it down, started another business. For viewers out there, and explain to a lot of our viewers out there who aren't entrepreneurs, who don't do what you do, or don't do what we do. Explain to them, the difficulties in starting and running a business and being successful the way you are.
Well, I think, first of all, everyone's definition of success is going to be different. Yours is going to be different from mine. Mine is going to be different from yours. I'll say that. Let's get that out of the way. But repeat the other part.
The part of being able to just close one business and start another one. For most people, they'll look at even just run the business is hard enough, but how are you able to just shut one down and you start another one and driving on with it?
It took time. It took some time for me. I actually took months and months. You saw the business plan. How many pages is it? So it was a lot of work. I'll say that. And it was a grieving process that came because, with one-on-one, I was there every day for 2.5 years. I even oversaw the renovations in terms of that. So it was almost like you're putting a baby away. That was my second baby, but that's what it felt like for me. It was a grieving process. Once I processed everything, it was time then to figure out what my next move was going to be. And I already had, pretty much everything was there. It just took me to go back in and, like I said, to speak with different people and to really just figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to move. Not what people told me I could do.
Right.
I think a lot of times we get caught up accepting what people tell us we can have, instead of essentially going in for what we want and not accepting anything else.
Right.
So that's what it took. And I still struggle with that. I have my own personal struggles. I think everybody does. But that's where mine lied. And I was just going to totally walk away from everything. And a gentleman that I know, he's known me for quite some time. And he said, well, Shamika, you've already laid down roots in the community. It's there. People need you. And even then, it took months for me to come back and be like, okay, well, let me do this.
Right.
But that's where I am now.
Okay.
It wasn't easy.
We got a question, and I got a question after this one. Ms. Frost, she's saying, have you ever considered doing a proposal to conduct military your analysis, which, as far as I know, personally, in the military units now conduct? Ooh.
Well, actually, didn't we speak about that earlier?
Yeah.
Yesterday? I have. Who was that? Was that Miss Fry?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Miss Brittany Fry.
I think that's Pamela Fry there.
Oh, Pamela. Hi. I actually have with the other business that I had before this. One of the things that we used to do was business, the consultation part. So it was helping people get in with Sam and stuff like that. So I spoke with that, thought about it yesterday. Sam is definitely on the list, and STARS as well, which is they oversee the vendors for the state. So yes, ma'am.
Okay, got another question here from Miss Avery. She's saying, how many drivers do you have doing the driving, and do you use your own personal cars?
We are using our own personal vehicles at the moment. Now, how many drivers we have, they're not considered drivers. Essentially what they are is they're contractors. They're phlebotomists. So it would depend on the volume that we have that day. So that would vary.
All right. We got another question here from Ms. Fry again. It says, what training and license are required to become certified, to become a certified testing agency?
Well, it depends on what kind of testing that you're going to be doing. So what we have is what we call a CLIA waiver, a CLIA. And that waiver allows us to do the drug test. That allows us to do the DOT testing. That allows us to do what they call low risk tests from different doctors' offices and things like that. Not anyone can do that, because if everyone could do it, they would be doing it. But that's the certification that we hold.
Right. So in light of all those great questions that they're having, so besides being able to go out and do what y'all guys are doing, you're also instructing a class and teaching people to become phlebotomists and get their certifications. Mm-hmm. So do you have instructors just lined up, or are you currently looking for instructors, for someone to be an instructor? How does that work?
I would like to add an instructor. So if anyone out there is looking, we do require for you to, of course, be certified, nationally certified with at least 2 years of experience in that field, which would be phlebotomy.
Okay, all right. Well, folks, those out there who's looking to instruct, do a little extra something on the side. Hey, they're definitely hiring like this. I know I used to stick a little bit when I was in the military. You know, they used to call me Stick Master like this. But
New character unlock.
all right. So, how long are so the new courses that you're doing is a little bit different from when it was when you was in 101 technical college.
Mm-hmm.
These are more compact, more boot camp style classes now, aren't they?
They are. So when with 101, we did a 12-day boot camp is what we called it. We are now doing a 5-day boot camp. It's still 40 hours though. So we're doing the 5-day, 40 hours. After that, you sit for your national exam. We have a refresher course for those that are already within the medical field that are already working as a phlebotomist. So we have that, and thereafter you sit for your certification.
So no, I've been to a couple of your boot camps, and I'm gonna ask a question on that. But I'm gonna go ahead to this question. It says here, what are some of the liabilities of the business? I.e., could you be sued for a false positive result? Do you have specific insurance to cover that kind of like malpractice insurance for a doctor?
Well, since we are not the CLIA waiver, we're not performing genealogy tests or mammogram cancer screenings. We can because we're actually partnered with the lab. So with the CLIA waiver, which I wish I could get more detailed oriented here for you, Ms. Fry. But the tests that we're doing have a very low chance of error, which is what a lot of people that are out here doing is what they have. So yes, we are insured.
Okay.
And could we be sued for a false positive? I don't know if she means that in terms of a
like
urine test.
Urine test.
Oh, well, I don't think so. But even if we were, I have insurance for that.
Yeah. And in most cases, Ms. Fry, anytime that you have a urine analysis and there's a false positive, they normally send that test back out again to get it rechecked again before they go back and inform those employers about the results.
And we have a lab for that.
All right. So I have walked through or witnessed some of your classes
Mm-hmm.
and some of the students getting their instructions from the instructor. My question would be, with this course now being so compact and full of information, could anybody actually just come in and be part of that boot camp and test out? Or do they have to have something in their background, like just for that type of stuff? You know, like if I've never done it before and I says, hey, I want to be a phlebotomist, can I come in your boot camp? Would I be able to absorb all that and then be ready to test when it comes time to test and get certified?
I think so. One of the things that I do pride myself on is that I don't want to go over a certain amount in terms of students. So I've already determined that 7 would be a great number. 7 is the number of completion. So, and we're very, as you know, even when the instructor is there, I'm very hands-on. I'm always checking with the students to see if there's something else that they need. I'm checking over schoolwork. I'm calling, I'm texting. So even when we offered the 12-day course, I was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some that came through that had no experience whatsoever. One of my greatest success stories, I think she had 20 years at Phoenix and came in on a Friday, started that Monday, and she's in the field to this day.
Wow.
So we've had some great success with the program, and I just continue to work with the curriculum. Even, we spoke about that the other day about how I'm constantly going in and evaluating the curriculum. How can this be better? How can I make this better? So I can teach anybody.
So, and I got a couple questions. We have a lot of viewers who view us from across the country. We got Texas, Georgia, Washington State, California, all over. Is it possible for anyone out there who says, you know what, I want to do that? Would they be able to take one of your classes virtually?
Well, we did have that option with 101. I think more so now, since we have just taken it and kind of structured it down to the 5 days, I would prefer that they're on site, hands-on. I need to know that you can actually stick. And we did have it to where with one-on-one to where the first week it was virtual as they were going over the coursework, and then they came in and we tried that. I didn't like the result. It worked out, but I still didn't like the result. So what we'll be doing is bringing them in for 4 hours, break, and then, bringing them in, coursework, break, and then they'll go over into the clinical aspect of it. So there are some courses out there that offer it 100% virtually, but that's not something that I'm comfortable with doing. And there are some courses out there that you guys will find that you can go in, and once you've completed the coursework, they'll send you over somewhere, tell you to go do your clinicals. So I'm not comfortable with that either, because what if you can't find somewhere to go do your clinicals and you've given me money and you can't test until you do that part. So I'm not comfortable with that either. I prefer to kind of keep my eyes on things.
Okay.
For now.
All right. So she said for now.
For now.
All right. I definitely understand that. So in dealing with the coursework, and you pretty much are the brainchild of all of this. You sat behind that desk in that room, locked up, and went through and put this curriculum, all that together yourself, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, I know what it's like for me to just do our curriculum for the entrepreneur course here, but we're talking medical and terminology. That's a lot different. How was that for you?
Daunting. But I like to research, and I like to learn. I always have. So part of it was pulling the materials. And once you have everything in front of you, to make sure that it correlates with the book that you're using, but to make sure that it makes sense.
Right.
Which goes back to what you were saying earlier, somebody that has no experience in the medical field. There's just a way that you have to set up the curriculum to where you're, kind of gently walking them through. That's just the way that I think about it. And you're constantly having to go back through for me and get feedback.
Right.
From the instructor, from the students. How do you feel about this? Well, what do you think could have been better? And you have to set your pride and your ego aside and just go for it.
All right. We got another question here from one of the viewers. She says, I have a family member that graduated last year, but she lives in Arkansas. Could she come work with you with her degree?
Oh, I wish she could, Miss Avery, but I need her here.
Well, I guess so are you asking, can she come to Huntsville, Alabama and come work with her degree? Or are you saying, can she work with her in Arkansas?
And
if you can expand on that a little bit more for us.
And what sort of degree does she have?
Right. And then what sort of degree does she have? And while we wait for her to put that in there, you kind of touched on this earlier, but my question would be this, and we talk about this a lot during entrepreneurship, during our classes. What makes mobile labs different than going to any other place to get this courses or these classes? Why should I go to mobile labs when I could probably go to Alabama A&M? If they have it. I don't know if they do or not. But if they had it, what would make you different?
Me.
Just you.
I'm the brain. I mean, I don't mean to sound full of myself, but I really pride myself on my results. Okay. Even when we ran one-on-one, I think, what was our success rate? Right at around 98% for first-time test takers. And for second time, the people that had to come back and retest, it was at 99%. So it would be me. We're not focused on getting 15 people in a class and cramming you in there and cramming all of this information in you and hope that you pass.
Right.
I want you to pass. I want you to make it. I want you to get a job in the field.
Right.
And I don't accept no for an answer. I've had to push a lot of girls through the program, but you don't know what you have in you sometimes until somebody is there pushing you. I've encountered that myself.
Right.
So I'm gonna look off on that one, but I think that's what makes it a little different. I actually care, and the instructors that I hire care. Even after they're gone, I still check on them. I still get phone calls. I still get text messages. Miss Hill, hey, how are you? I think that's what makes it a little different.
Right.
Me.
So, question, and while we're still waiting for Miss Avery to expand on her question, what is the job market for this? Because I'm not in the medical field. I don't know too much about medical other than combat life saving. Is there a big need for phlebotomists out there in our country, in the hospitals, in the doctor's office? Is there a big need for that?
There will always be, just in the medical field as a whole, there will always be a need. The medical field is one of the fields that you can get into, and depending upon what certifications you have, you will always have a job. That's not a problem that I see. And especially with, this group, certain generations are aging out. When you have those nursing homes that are filled to capacity,
right?
Even we can, speak in regards to the hurricanes that just happened. I was doing some research to see if they had travel jobs there. So there's different things that come into play. Well, lo and behold, I hope we don't see anything else like COVID again. But when you think about the medical field, you have to, all of that comes into play. So I don't see, especially with the growth that we've seen here in Huntsville, I don't expect that to change.
Okay. All right. Looks like Miss Avery's back with her question. She says, with her degree, she has a lab technician. I was saying if she would move to Bama, would her degree be good there? Good question.
So you mentioned lab technician, normally that's a certification. And if it is active, depending upon the governing body, that agency that she tested with, she should be fine. I don't see a problem with that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, what type of future do you see with mobile labs now? What are you looking to expand beyond the borders of the Huntsville, Madison County? Are you looking to maybe open up satellite sites in other states? How do you see mobile labs growing?
I mean, as far as from what I can see, vans essentially like pulling up and we're coming in, we're drug testing, DOT testing, whatever it is that we're doing. I don't know yet if I can see satellite offices, because that's major growth, major. And my brain can't even wrap around satellite offices, franchises, contracts, different people, different, you're dealing with different personalities. I mean, and that's hard enough.
Right.
But I can't say that as of yet, but when we speak in terms of Huntsville, Madison County, of course, borderline areas, Tennessee, Athens, we're going where the blood is. I'm going where the money is.
Does your organization partner with said facilities that may say, hey, we need phlebotomists to be here? Do you help place some of your students where, hey, they're hiring like this, we're working with them?
I've done that before. Not even just with the phlebotomist, with one-on-one we had, and we will be adding that program back, the CMA program, the clinical medical assistant. So I used to have, they would just reach out. Well, there's clinicals that the CMA has to do as well. So normally those girls would be hired, contingency form, they would have that, the offer letter, and the contingency was they might get a 50-cent or 75-cent raise once they've completed the course and they receive their certification. So it was never a problem placing them. With the phlebotomists, it can get a little bit more difficult, which was one of the reasons why I opened mobile labs now. I did want to give them the opportunity for employment right out the gate too. But it's normally not an issue with job placement.
Right.
No, but we do help. I assist with the resume writing, updating their resume, and even interview prep.
So mobile labs is almost like a one-stop shop. You can come to school, get your education and certification, and then turn around and work with mobile labs as a job.
I always wanted to offer employment opportunities, and I'm cooking up something else too. With another agency, a lady that's based out in New York, that's a staffing company. And hopefully here by, I think, next month, we'll be able to directly place them for traveling opportunities, which I think is great.
Outstanding. Hey, I tell you what, folks, those who are interested or want to do something like this, reach out to Ms. Hill. Her information is scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. I think I find it very interesting. And this is a dynamic woman. One of the things, and I don't think our viewers probably noticed, you're also an author. You wrote a book.
I did. I don't know what I was thinking about when I did that. But I got so many phone calls and messages, and I would just speak to people and I was like, well, how did you open a tech school? What did you do? How did you know? It's not that hard. So I sat down. I think we talked about this before. Maybe I think it took 4 days, and I wrote the ebook.
Wow.
So it's available on Amazon.
I've been told a lot of times that I need to write a book, but I just never had the courage like you and so many other people who's been writing books. And I've had them here on the program, and they talk about their books like this, and they say, Charles, you need to write a book. Like this, I don't know, maybe I'll think about it, But it's a very good book, and it's very interesting. And that's, folks, she said it is on Amazon and doing well.
School Days. It's called School Days. SKOOL Days. 101. So I was supposed to be coming out with 102. I guess this is the second adventure. I should write the second book. Right? Maybe you can co-author it.
I'm no writer. I tell you what, though. Hey, Ms. Hill, I tell you what, it has been great having you here. I think what you are doing with Mobile Labs is outstanding. I think the opportunities that you're giving these young ladies and men to get a chance to get a certification and employment is also a big boost, because that's what our community needs.
Yeah.
Our community needs that boost. When we go through our entrepreneur classes and everyone is wanting to start their business, I always tell them, like, just get your business going to where you can help your community. Like, just bring them in, like, just help uplift them, because that's going to be important, because it does take us. It takes a village to make it work. It takes that networking to help you get going, because we can't do it all. We can't do it alone. And I tell a lot of the viewers all that, and those who are watching who's interested in starting a business or are going to start a business, understand something. You can't do it by yourself. You're going to have some networking there. You're going to need some of those industry partners to help you get going, whether it be from knowledge, whether it be from supply, whether it be from distribution. Somewhere down the line, you're going to need them to help you out. So don't try to do it alone. Reach out and start networking and talking with other people, because you never know what someone else might know in regards to what you're trying to do. All right.
You beat that into me. Remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Beat that into me. But
yes, ma'am. Right. You got to do that. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience before we close?
I just wanted to say that it's important to be in business, to be authentically you. I think that that's something that a lot of us struggle with, especially when you're looking online and you're seeing this and you're seeing that. And that goes back to what I was saying about everybody's version of success looks different. But it's very important that you remain true and authentic to yourself.
True. Good. Hey, I tell you what, thank you for coming in this evening and sharing with us and talking with us with Mobile Labs Now. I look forward to seeing that organization, that business doing great things. It already is. Mm-hmm. And with you at the hem of everything, I'm sure it's going to be all right. Hey, in the spirit of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we are still going on with that. As you can see, our beautiful banner in the back. On the 30th of this month, I got a special coming in. A young lady who does something special with breast cancer and cancer just in general. I think you all are going to want to see that and be a part of that. She is phenomenal. I can't wait to have her here and speak on what she's doing, like this. So make sure you please tune in for that. Okay. And as always, remember, everyone, your yesterday is not your today, and your today is not your tomorrow. Good night.